Mike Camarado again with Learning God Ministries. We're on the God Code, Part 4. I know this is turning into some kind of Fast and Furious movie extravaganza. Part 17, Part 19. Actually, everything that Learning Ministries is going to portray really goes back to the God Code because it's all about God. So there's always a code involved. And we've been talking about the code and how humans and plants and animals, well, here's the thing. The code is really kind of God's law. It's the way he invented things to be, to happen, to evolve and adapt. So his code laid out the groundwork. Now, humans, although he laid out our groundwork, humans like to create new laws. Humans like to make laws. We're still figuring out laws. Just today, new laws happen to come across the table. Signed. Done. It's a new law. I don't know why we didn't know this law before. But what happens is man has their own laws. We can alter them, change them, cancel them, make new ones, make silly ones. We do whatever we want because we can do whatever we want. God's laws are in place and they stay in place. They don't move. But man likes to change even those laws that were put into place. You know, if all the lawmakers actually got together and had God in mind when they were creating their laws, our laws, I think the world would be pretty peaceful and a better place. And if everybody did that, what a great place we'd live. But guess what? Everybody's not going to do that. That's never going to happen on this planet. Later on, you'll be living in God's law if you're lucky enough to get there. And it's not lucky. It's not like a lottery. You don't have to be lucky to get there. You will get there if you know God, know Jesus, and do things for him on earth. Do things for him here on earth. Got to put that into law. Okay, so the best species on the planet, aside from man, almost every other living thing follows God's law. To this day, they still follow it. From thousands of years ago to today. They have to adapt because man makes this environment crazy and it alters the lifestyles of these other animal and plant life, and they have to adapt. But the basic thing is all their God's law is still in place with them. They don't create new laws. They're going by what God said. Man is the only one that doesn't go by what God said. Well, most of us. Anyway, let's look at insects. Got my handy dandy. All right, insects. Let me write on here. Just want to write. I know, they come into the house. Insects? God, insects? What gives? They come into the house. It's summertime. Ants. Ants. I don't mean A-U-N-T-S. Ants get into the house, and guess what happens? We got our handy dandy Randy Raid spray. Get the heck out of my house. I don't want these ants in here. They're all over my food. I can't eat. The ants don't know they're in your house. The ants don't know that they're bothering you. They're doing what ants do. They're surviving for their colony. Their colony, other ants, and the queen. Dun, 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 dun. If you look at an ant, and I'm sure you've seen an ant before, you can't tell one ant from another ant. What makes them different? Nothing. Except they treat God's law, God's code, the way they were coded, exactly the way God wanted them to. Now, I'm not trying to save the ants. Look, if they get all over you and they're in your cabinet, you gotta get rid of them. I know. But all these ants work for the colony, they work with the other ants, and they're working for the queen. They are doing exactly what they're supposed to do. Humans don't work for the colony. Humans are very self. We're in it for ourselves. Oh yeah? What's in it for me? Do you think an ant is going to go around? I am not pulling this moth back to the colony. I'm not doing it. You guys want to help? I'll do it. And guess what? They all help. They all work with each other, for each other, without question, for the entire colony. We don't do that as humans. They work with the other ants. No discrepancy unless it's another colony. Then they might butt heads a little bit. And they work for the queen. They have a goal. That's their goal. Another fantastic insect to see this harmony of God's code working. One of my favorites. And I didn't like these insects prior to me getting these messages. In fact, I was afraid of them. Bees. There was a time if a bee entered my house, I would freeze. I was so terrified of bees, even outside. I'd go, whoa! Terrifying. Bees follow God's code to a T. Now, humans have made these two insects adapt to the environment, but their reasons for existence have not changed because God's code has not altered in them. Bees also work for the colony. They work with other bees. And they work for, you got it, the queen. This synergy of these animals that we think are below us, because yeah, can I use a newspaper and go swat a bee? Of course I could. Use the spray on the ants? Of course I could. I'm a human being. You have no right to be here. Of course we physically can harm them, kill them, eradicate. Well, we can never eradicate them totally. There's way more of them than we could ever try to wipe out. Actually, we don't want to wipe them out. But the bees have God's code in them. They do what they have to do. They communicate. Do you think ants and bees have gone to school to learn things? We have to go to school to learn things, to get ahead in life. Ants don't have to go to school. Bees don't have to go to school. A lot of the animal kingdom doesn't have to go to school. Elephants do the same thing. They work together as a group with no self involved. They work as the group to a survival of their cause. God's code. That's what they do. Bees and ants, same thing. We don't do that. If we did, our colony would thrive. We would be so successful and peaceful in our lives. Now look, do other bees come around and fight other bees? Yeah, they're protecting their colony. But all in all, the code has not changed. Humans, our code we alter it. We do whatever we want because we're human beings. Look to these guys. These guys know what's happened. And here's another clinker. And sorry if you have dogs, cats, other animals. These other animals don't have spirits. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just telling you what I was told. Human beings are the only animal or thing that has a spirit that is God code created. God didn't create spirits in these. So when you do go to heaven, you're not going to see your old favorite dog when you were 3 years old, or cat, or whatever. They don't go to heaven. I know it's sad because I've had a couple of pets in my life that I wish I would be able to see again in heaven. But you won't see those pets. This does not mean that there are no animals in heaven, because the Bible says there are. I don't know, I haven't seen it, but if the Bible says it, I'm going to assume that that's a big yes. There are animals there, but they were not from here. So the spirits, our spirits, are going to be in heaven with the stuff that's there already, that never had anything to do with earth. And probably a good thing. And you'll be able to be with them, live with them, not like we can here on earth. Animals don't like us too much. In fact, they kind of stay away. Maybe not domesticated dogs and cats. Fish have no choice. We got them trapped in that little bowl. But that's funny. That's the thing with the animals and humans. And if we only work towards our colonies, life would be such a better thing. So do we have to look to ants and bees? Quite simply, yes, we do. They'll tell us a lot. So we're buzzing out of God Code Part 4. Next week, God Code Part 5, we're going to talk about the guy, Jesus, and how his code works with us, for him. What does it do? And why is he Jesus? Why do we look to him for any of this? We're going to do that next week. All right, so that's it. Be careful with your spray, and be careful with your newspapers, and whatever you do, do it with God. All right, that's it. Mike out, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.